Hello, Pascal.
Hello, Edouard. How are you?
I'm very good. You?
I'm fine and dandy.
Perfect.
And that just gave my age away. Yeah.
So, if you don't mind, I'm just going to ask you to briefly introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Pascal Blais. I'm the founder of a company called Pascal Blais Studios. Pascal Blais Studios was a commercial company in Montreal. I was running that company for 33 years, and I sold it 4 years ago, 4 years ago, 4 years ago. Now it has changed the name, but the company was basically the, uh, the spear leader and the 2D traditional animation, Disney classical animation, and we were also touching a bit of 3D. We're doing stop motion. We were doing many types of animation. But we produced a couple of movies which went to the Academy Awards, and then the last film we did was The Old Man and the Sea, and we were able to win the Academy Award, the Oscar with that. So we brought home the bacon, like we say. But my long life dream was always to work in the film business, and it wasn't happening fast enough. So I decided to, that's why I decided to sell my company and venture into the realm of feature films. I'm now the head of animation at MPC in Montreal. MPC is the moving picture company, which is a division of Technicolor. Technicolor, the umbrella of a family of companies like Micros Animation, which produce the film, where they produce the films of Asterix, SpongeBob, the movie, that type of film, more cartoony. There's Mr. X. They do all the Netflix type of movies, but MPC is specialized in feature films. Our clients are Disney, 20th Century Fox, Legendary, Amblin Entertainment, that type of movies.
And what movies have you done in, like, say, the past 2 years or so?
Well, the last year, just to give you an idea, last year was our busiest year ever at the company, and that's when I joined. I joined the company. I was previously working at another company called DNEG, and then I was approached to be the head of the animation department at MPC. MPC, by the way, is the largest by no measures of comparison, the biggest VFX company in the world. We're working on different continents, and I'll go more into that a bit later, how big it is. But yeah, last year we worked, we produced 15 features. We worked on 15 features. We produced a VFX, but in certain case we did the whole movie, such as Lion King was entirely done at MPC. There was not one single image. Actually, there was one single image that was done in live action, but the whole film was done CG. So yeah, we did Doctor Dolittle was entirely done in Montreal. Call of the Wild was entirely done in Montreal. We did Sonic. We did Artemis Fowl. We worked on a Godzilla movie. Uh, there's a new one coming up next, which I can't talk about, but it's
Oh,
amazing.
that's exciting.
We worked on Top Gun. I can't talk about that one because this one is up. There's uh, Maleficent, Dumbo. There's an array of pictures like Artemis Fowl, 1917, which I was personally doing the VFX supervision. So
Yeah,
uh,
1917 won a lot of awards as well.
yeah, we're very excited. So that's the type of movies we've been doing.
So, this interview is for a student project to help frame and understand media convergence and, the importance of digital media literacy. So how, like, media is portrayed, like, the new forms of media such as social media, all that stuff. And media convergence, which is like the combination of different forms of media to create new stuff. So my first question for you, Pascal, would be, well, you have accomplished something every filmmaker dreams of doing, which is winning an Oscar with your short film, The Old Man and the Sea.
Yeah.
which was produced in, I believe, 1999.
Yeah, actually, you're right. You're right.
And for this, you had to use different forms of media to get your film out there, because it's pretty complicated to really get your movie to, the larger audience, to for them to see it, and not only to see it, but also to understand the meaning of what you're trying to say with this movie, your message.
That's
Um,
the was the year 2000. So you're right. It was 1999, and it went to the Academy on this beautiful round number, 2000.
yes. So what I wanted to examine today with you is how you use these forms of media, say like maybe newspapers, or like online stuff. Well, I know like it was 1999, so there was no social media really, so you had to use different stuff to really get your film to the larger audience. So I wanted to examine that, and I want to compare it to how it is today. How do you show your film, and how do you spread your message today, especially with the emergence of streaming platforms such as Netflix, Amazon, and the extensive use of social media. So basically what I'm asking is
It's
how
true.
media was used before compared to how it's done now
Yeah.
to
Well,
film.
back then, when we produced The Old Man and the Sea, it was a totally different game ball at that time. For one thing, uh, when we did the film, we also worked on the distribution. So we were very much involved in all the film markets. There was a consortium called GSTA, the Giant Screen Theater Consortium, and they were having these big events in the different cities around the world. So it was like a 1 week event, and we'd meet with theater owners and show the films, and the best movie would win an award. And before the film was finished, it went out for a couple of years actually, the production of the movie, but we were invited to go there and show some making of, and different stages of where we were just having some basically professional discussions around and create some hype on the movie. So it was really a physical work, I'd say, just meeting with the people. But once we had the film finished, we did a big premiere here in the Old Port of Montreal. So we hired an agency to do we worked on all the marketing for the movie. So that means the posters, and there was a banner and all sort of things, advertising for the papers and all that stuff. So we were very much involved, being a commercial house. We had experience with that kind of graphic work, so we did some of that ourselves. But also the agency contributed a lot to do that kind of work. But then it's paying media with the papers at that time. It was not really via internet. It was a bit too early for that. But it was on side of big buses around the city, and all sorts of things like that. You have to have your film seen in order. In those days, there was no internet, so you have to have organized screenings and theaters over there if the film is not playing, and invite people so they see the movie, so they can vote for the movie. And so you have to publish in the Variety magazine some ads inviting. It's always like you mentioned, for your consideration, and you mentioned the film, but it costs a lot of money. It's a lot of investment. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, so you mentioned how, back in the day, like you advertised on like posters and newspapers and like in the Vogue magazine and all that. Like you don't really see that nowadays. Like I see a couple of posters for like some I saw like a musical on a bus the other day, but that's not really something that happens often. It's more on like, the internet and all of that. So
The
what do
world,
you think about that transition?
yeah, the world, everything went to digital, and almost overnight. Well, not overnight, but it was a very big adaptation for many to be doing that change. And but I mean, it's incredible the difference. But us at NPC, we don't need to promote the movies because we're we're a service company. So basically, our client are the ones doing all the digital work and the promotion of the movie. So we basically pitch on a picture, and we produce the film. We do all the shot work basically, and we deliver it. But then they come up with a concept. The director is also uh, working on the client side. We have internal directors, we call the animation supervisors. We have one animation director that which also is a teacher at Dawson, Omar Morsi. I don't know if he's still teaching. I don't know if he still has the time, but
I don't know. I guess the teacher watching this will know.
but anyhow, so he became director. He directed the movie Call of the Wild. But other than him, it's all animation supervisors, and the director is on the client side.
Mhm.
So basically, we don't worry about the digital marketing of a picture, but we are still a very digital company in the sense that we have to be in this modern world just by being synchronized with all the various continents, with all the various companies. It's huge.
Do you think this digital way of like advertising and promoting movies and art, do you think it was a positive change or a negative change? Because like trailers can be negative things
Well, there was
if they
always
reveal too much, so I don't know.
uh,
What are your thoughts on that?
there were always trailers. As long as I can remember, there was always trailers. It was just at the beginning of movies. That's where they were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
like not all like everywhere. Now you could see them like on your phone, on like when you go on YouTube, you could see them before the video you watch.
you would have them on TV as TV commercials. You would have the trailer. They would be announcing the movie. So that's kind of odd because we don't see that on TV anymore. I would
Yeah.
think it's mostly it's only digital. But yeah, you have a bigger reach. I mean, you go to the washroom in a bar, and then you're going to see a trailer, an advertising. There's a little screen on top of those toilets. There's some people who thought of that idea. So how much can I intrude in some people's life to be able to sell marketing? And yeah, it has evolved quite a bit. There was a film festival called Animation Celebration in Pasadena a long time ago, and that was before the digital era, but even then the TV was in transformation. And there was a guy called John Crickfalucci. He's the director of Ren and Stimpy. John Crickfalucci is a crazy guy, just wild. And he was on stage and he said, when you're watching TV, your favorite show, and in the corner of the screen right there, you have where's the corner of the screen? Here's the corner. Yeah. Okay. Right in the corner. You have the logo coming up of Nickelodeon, and it just animates, and it's bothering you as hell. You know what you're watching Nickelodeon, but they have this little logo, and it just unfolds and animates, and it just grabs your attention. Don't you hate that? I mean, that's just a disruption of a great show that you're watching. Nowadays, people don't even notice because we have it so much. But back then, it was a new thing. He said, well, that did so well for him that every station started doing it, and now we have this visual pollution everywhere. Don't you hate that? And everybody was saying, yeah, we hate it, we hate it. So the guy who invented it is sitting right here in front of you. His name is so-and-so. So if you hate this, tell him. So the guy would just run out of the theater, was like shamefully. But I mean, that's basically a sort of visual disruption or visual pollution, I would say. And it's a little bit like these advertisements that you see everywhere. And that's basically part of the digital world. Like I was saying, in the washroom, you can't even go to the washroom without seeing some interruption. So, but there are some good aspects of the digital world, digital marketing, which is for one thing, and myself, I don't watch TV anymore because I don't have the time or the patience to wait until a certain schedule to be able to watch what I want to watch. And I don't like to be disrupted while I'm watching it, the TV commercial all the time. Well, nowadays, even on YouTube, you're starting to see more and more disruptions with advertising. I used to do
Yeah.
advertising, so I should be promoting advertising, but I'm not. I was always disturbed by that. So when you're working, when you have all these tablets and all that stuff, you watch stuff at your own pace, and you're basically the master of your own time. You're not your time, your schedule is not dictated by someone else. But the power of media is just phenomenal. I was at a place called Kids Screen in Miami every year in February, and they were having these seminars of the new digital medias and the new ways. And I mean, you have kids, I mean, real kids like your age that are like millionaires. Like they like a guy like PewDiePie, you know, he was just having fun at home in his basement, just doing these videos. And that these media gurus, the guy was there talking about we bought his company, his media channel for $500 million. Like, what
Like
the hell?
that's a crazy like number.
Crazy numbers. So you can be in your basement and you can reach the world, and there's nothing stopping you from that if you have the discipline of doing it every day. And anyways, there's a few years ago it was like the Far West, but now it's getting more structured and organized. But there's so much potential there for growth and for fortune.
So
Basically at your disposal to do great stuff if you want to.
so basically it's like a bit of both, you know, you have more of like this visual pollution with like, you know, the logos appearing at the bottom of the screen, but you also have more reach. So this transition to digital, in your opinion, what I understood from your response, it's that, you know, there are some positives, but there's also like a couple of negatives as well, that like we're so used to seeing like certain types of advertising, especially the younger generations, that we don't even notice it's there, like the logos you talk about in the
Well,
bottom of the screen.
you you guys, okay, I'm the old timer here, but you guys, uh, you're not old. I mean, and you've seen a lot of changes in your life already. I mean, you when you watched YouTube when you were a kid, you would watch YouTube from A to Z without interruption, and now you see all these little notch on the timeline, and you see there's going to be an ad there, there's going to be an ad there, and an ad there, and now you're watching a good YouTube video, and now you have two commercials at the beginning of it that
Yeah, now there's two.
you have to suffer through that. You know, it's like seriously. It was already tough to have one, and now I have to do two back to back. That's how they get their money, you know. So that's it's becoming like the TV somehow.
Hmm.
But that's a change. That's a change, and these changes they appear. They see something that's working, it's making money. We'll keep doing it. You know, if it brings some revenue, we'll do it. So you have experience in change, and then you will experience some change. So it's evolving, and now
Very quickly too. Like it's evolving like at an exponential rate, and you don't know when it will stop.
life goes fast, and
Yeah.
being in the cartoon business, I feel very young still. But for me, I don't. I was not when I was your age. That was not that long ago. And that time, there was no fact. There was no facts. That didn't even exist. There were no computers. There was no internet. There was nothing. No Photoshop. It was all done on film, on cameras, big optical printers. We had big Oxbury cameras. Everything was technical, was physical. And then, uh, that was the beginning of VHS and Betacam, and VHS resolution is really basically shit. but then I experienced so many changes and technology. And, we went from Betacam editing. Well, when I started in the business, it was 1-inch tapes. So films were transferred to 1-inch tape. I mean, it was like big rolls rolling,
Yeah.
and you couldn't create more than a title on top of an image. The only thing you could do it was a digital, not even the word digital, but it was a title superimposition onto your image. But that's not the point of your discussion, baby. Probably you want to talk about something else. I'm just talking about the evolution of technologies.
Yeah. And how fast it goes.
It went very fast, and I think we're still going to experience some drastic changes in the future. But the secret of surviving in this business is able to be to adapt, basically, to be agile and keep an open mind and adapt. Just so yeah, we were always very agile and very flexible in our way of production, and that's why we were in business for 33 years. While I was seeing companies like so many companies going in up and down, just not surviving the tides, basically. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Good luck, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you to you.
All right, take care.
All right, you too. Bye bye.